Now, it's really, really nice to see. So with that said, Madhu is here from Quinnox, and she's the head of service delivery. And the company, I was just talking to the marketing person, the company has such a wonderful culture of promoting gender diversity, thought diversity, anything that you can think of. So anybody who's looking to join, here is a company, talk to Madhu after the panel. But with that, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm audible, right? Okay, great, thank you. So hi, I'm Madhu Gaur, and I have been working as the Bangalore Delivery Center head for... No? Okay.
Hello? I guess you have to get it closer.
Okay, sorry.
Like a rock star.
Thank you. Okay, so hi again, I'm Madhu Gaur. I'm the Bangalore Delivery Center head for Quinnox. I've been working with Quinnox for 3 years now and have been with the IT industry for close to 20 years. Prior to this, I was working as a delivery manager for Accenture for like close to 15 years. I started my career with a product development organization, so I have been I'm blessed with the opportunity to work in both the worlds, in services as well as products. Thank you. That was a brief introduction about me.
Thank you, Madhu. We have Prathima here, who's from Virtusa. Interesting thing when we got talking is, of course, she does what she does at Virtusa, but what was more interesting for me is she races. She participates in rallies. So that's a fantastic thing. With that introduction, I want you to introduce your work portion.
Thanks, Pallavi. Good afternoon, everyone. It's amazing to see such energy from morning. This is Prathima Naidu. I've been associated with Virtusa for close to 4 years, and prior to that, my work experience is primarily into IT and ITES for over 2 decades. And think about a logo, I'm positive I've kind of worked with them already. I'm also an alumni from ISB Hyderabad, so definitely privileged about getting that foundation as well. And yeah, I'm here today to talk about the very interesting topic, so looking forward to it. Thank you, Pallavi.
Thank you, Prathima. Beth, thank you for traveling all the way from Austin towards Bangalore. I know that you're with Planview EVP. You've started as a software engineer and have grown in the technological world. I know you mentor a lot of women. That's one of your passions. So please go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, thank you. And this is just a joy to be here. This is the passion that drives me. Getting women into products, into industry is what really gets me energized. Yeah, we do some software and that good stuff. That's fun too, but that's what. And so I do have the privilege of serving as the leader leading the product development organization at Planview. We are about the future of connected work. We have a broad portfolio of applications that help companies from their strategic initiatives all the way through delivery and executing on their business objectives. I started out as a software developer as well. And I always have to share this because I'm an old hand. I've been in this technology for 37 years. Yes, I color my hair. Got to keep it looking young. But when I started in computer science, y'all, this is what was interesting. And I had to go back and look at the statistics. I didn't feel like there were, it was equal, men and women in the program. And then when I got into industry, it was like, wow, the scenery changed. And I went back and looked at statistics. When I graduated in the mid-'80s, then that is when it was like literally 30% of the computer science graduate for females, or 35%. Then at about 2012, I'm like, what is going on? And it had dropped to 12. And so I became passionate around working at the university, like what is going on? And that's been my passion, is how is the dynamic change? How do we get more female in technology? And I serve on the executive team with Shalini, and I will say one of the things I'm so proud of Planview, literally about a year ago, there were 0 women on the executive team. We brought in a new leader, who valued women, and we are at 35 or 40% female on the executive team. It starts at the top, and when you have that unbelievable support, the dynamic changes, and super excited. It's executive presence all the way down. We are soon, hopefully, to add a woman board member to the board. So it's just a privilege to work at a company that really, really values diversity. It helps our energy going forward. But it's a pleasure to be here. Would just love to share my experiences of what I've done, and I'm passionate about customer being the driver. So,
all right,
very important topic.
Important topic. So coming to the topic, who really calls the shots? See, every time I lead a product management team, and every time we talk to customers, I always come away with the feeling that they don't really know what they're talking about. And I always, it's as almost Steve Jobs sits in my head and says, they don't know a shit about what they want, right? But we'll start with Prathima. Prathima, what do you think? Who really calls the shot, customers or somebody else?
She brought in Steve Jobs already into my head. My version of who calls the shots is you. As an engineer, as a product developer, as a product manager, I totally echo with what Pallavi said. When we actually start working on the project, oh, by the way, I forgot to introduce the customer that I'm associated with is Google. So I know what a product development is all about. Yeah, they have some idea, but I still think the person who calls the shots is you. If you understand the problem statement to what every single person spoke from morning, that is what brings the seat for you at the table, for even Google to listen to you. That's not going to be easy. So your knowledge on that project and that product is the key. So in my head, who calls the shot? It's you. Whether you're an engineer, product developer, or product maintenance team, you are the one who calls the shots.
All right. I normally see that happen. The engineering folks, sometimes they come up with the idea. The product management comes up with the idea. You can get it validated, but I don't know if customers truly call the shots, right? So that's good to hear from you as well. Now, you guys have been hearing from entrepreneurs, you've been hearing from product management professionals. I think the other side, which is post-sales, the service delivery angle, right? They meet a lot with customers. In fact, they're deep in the weeds, looking at even their smallest problems. Now, how do you bring that, whatever you see with customers, whatever you hear from customers, how do you bring that back to the product development cycle?
Great question. Thank you. So what I would say, what has really worked for me in this perspective has been understanding the business of the customer. It is so important to understand their domain, their growth, their journey, their business, their trends, their industry trends. What really worked for me is to bring in a strong business analyst from the market who has the experience and the exposure in the client's industry domain, right? And with that into the team, it became an extremely healthy balance where we could close the gaps between the customer's requirements and transfer them to the technical teams. It absolutely works like magic because we are, with that business analyst in place, we are in a much stronger position to tell the customer what's right for them, what's wrong for them, and how they can transform their businesses using technology.
Certainly. I've had some product managers who think, oh, I'm the person, I have to define everything. And then, we had to slowly educate and say, here are the people, you got to work collaboratively, bring in customer success, bring in engineering, bring in sales, and then you'll be able to build a better product. Now, changing the angle a little bit, and you keep saying you're an old hand at this. We wanted to, understand from you, you've been in this industry for a long time. What has worked for you from, the development stage to getting to EVP stage? what are some of the tidbits that you can give to our audience?
Sure. I love mentoring and sharing what I have learned along the way, because I hate for anybody to make the mistakes or the hard knocks, if you will. It's first, I say, you know, early in your career, whatever you're developing, are you surrounded by people who are going to champion you, who are going to guide you and help you grow? So in that early development journey, I had a great leader who helped navigate up the chain from a management perspective. But the reality was, okay, then I hit a level, it's like, okay, nobody's helping guide the next level. So there is a point in time where it was like, okay, now I don't have anyone holding my hand. I have to build confidence within, and I've got to raise my hand. I recall one point in my career, I had the next level aspiring, and I saw guys around me. I'm like, how are they doing this? And it's they had confidence. They didn't know all the things, but they'd raise their hand and they'd put themselves out there. So that was an important moment to say, I've got to raise my hand and put myself out there. I always tell people, you look at a job description, we all have, or I did, an in-depth, I don't want to fail. I need perfection. You got to damper that down and say, no, I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to take some risks. Yes, I can't do some of those things on that job description, but I have confidence I can learn. So you have to push, don't hold yourself. I found myself holding myself back. And then, just communication. And then later in my career, as I got into an executive, I've been in an executive level for about 17 years. And when I talk about getting to that executive level, that was the breaking through. It did feel like breaking through a ceiling. I had to make a change. I looked around me, that scenario of, I'm not moving, and I had to evaluate the situation and said, I'm not going to get there from here. So I had to step away from the company and go find the right place for me to begin. And within 6 months, I was at that executive level. So the next interesting part of the journey was, okay, I need other female software executives. Austin, Texas, it's a big place. I'm looking, oh my, there are none. So it's like, okay, who's going to mentor in me and network? So I built a network of people with the background further in their journey, not just women, I did find, but men as well. And so I think don't optimize too much on the women perspective, because the males will help you with a perspective that you don't see. Find someone who is going to be honest with you. We're all nice. We want to be nice. We want to say good things about everyone. But you need to find somebody who's going to give you the hard truth. Beth, you're not good at this. You didn't do that right. And somebody's going to speak truth to you. But just continuing to push, have confidence in yourself, believe in yourself. And I'm telling you, it's just been a fun ride, as I have found myself in the last 2 companies surrounded by more women. That has helped my confidence too, to push through that. So just be aware of those things. You can do anything you want to do, and you can run anything you want to run. You just have to put yourself out there. Do not hold yourself back. You'll make a lot of mistakes, bloody noses. I had 4 brothers, and it's like, I would watch them fall and fail, and it's like, how can they do it and I not do it? You just got to, okay, I can do this. Believe in yourself.
No, certainly. I think the part where you said, go with your male colleagues or look for superiors that will sponsor you in this journey. I think that definitely helps. In fact, I think I'm going to tell Shreya and Kritika probably next time we have this conference, we should have at least 50% middle senior management males coming in, because sometimes we preach to the choir, right?
Yes.
They should also hear and understand what the angle is, and that probably helps many of our lives. With this, I want to go to the audience and see any questions that any of you may have for our panelists here. All right. That section was the one that raised hands if they ate curd rice, so they're still awake. Success.
Hello everyone. It's great hearing to your stories and your journeys. It's really beautiful and very inspiring. My name is Ponima and I come here from Sony. The question I wanted to ask is, in your journey, what were the biases you generally faced and you had to break them? And you really did break, I'm sure, but how did you break them? Thank you.
Should I go? We did discuss this yesterday, but I'm just going to call it out. Not as biased. I think I agree with Beth. There are a lot of men who are very supportive. A lot of my mentors are actually men. One of the bias that you will have is your lack of confidence in yourself. That's it. There's just no two ways about it. We as an individual walk into the room without wearing that diamond, which I call it the confidence, and expect the others to look at us as diamonds. You can shine, darling. Just go ahead, walk inside. You have the seat at the table only when you believe it. My take about biased that we are always is about ourselves. If we can take that out of the equation, you will do just fine and you will shine.
Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with her. The only bias which we have is in our minds. I do not think the men look at us in that way. So if you are able to break your own mental barriers and be self-aware of what you're good at, be out there, I think there's nothing stopping you.
One of the things I realized in this barrier is communication. I worked really hard. I would sit in a room, I would say something, I'm like, they're all like, is she talking again? What is wrong with these people? You know, but I wasn't speaking with confidence. I had to really focus on how to speak with confidence, be concise. I tell people, watch out for your emotional words. Well, I believe or I think, I'm probably not right, but get those out of your language. Be passionate. I know this is gonna work, you know, and it's not it wasn't my nature. You know, I was like, okay, again, that fear of failure. So it really can come through on communication. So be aware of that. And I'd like to just touch on the men part. We started a Women at Planview organization 4 years ago. And the topic of discussion is the organization, the ERG group, just the women or the men? It was but we have had almost 40%, when we do an event and a speaker or any kind of workshop, 40% men will show up. They are part of the journey. They are part of our success. So it doesn't seem real natural, but bring them along, keep them involved in the conversation because they have a role to play every day in our day-to-day growth and development. So it's just not natural. It seems like they don't understand us, you know. They're over here falling down, they don't care, they don't listen, you know. So
Amen to that. There was another question there.
Hello, I'm Chaitra. And since today morning we have heard this, and I think over the lunch all of us resonate with this. It's like one thing is that we kind of put very high benchmark for ourselves and we don't jump in until we know that we are perfect. And I think everyone thinks the same. And the second thing is that we know we are good at it, but we are hesitant to market it, or rather say that, okay, I'm good at it, and we are not demanding enough. How do we break this barrier? Any tips towards it, or have you undergone such whatever we are feeling over here? Have you guys also, as leaders, have you undergone this phase, and how did you overcome this?
I'll just say one or two sentences. Since I'm in product management, sometimes, you know, girls come and ask me, I have to travel, right? How many times should I travel? I'm like, you're already jumping to that part, and you've not thought about anything else. So let's, you know, just jump into this role and we'll figure out a way how to work around your requirements. So my ask is always just jump in, do it, and you will figure out whatever blockages you have. There is always a way to figure it out. And if your immediate boss is not willing to work with you, find another boss. Mm-hmm. That's always been my mantra.
I'll still give you good one, Pallavi. I'll still give you another point. I've been hearing Deepika in the morning talk about Amazon. I worked with that logo for a very long time. One of the examples that I could relate to Jeff, that he has 60% of data to actually execute any project. And that's Amazon's success story today, which is 60% of data set. That means 40% there is an opportunity for Amazon to fail. Did it fail? All of us know the story. Don't be critical. Just be here and now. Live this moment. Forget about whether you're going to sail tomorrow or not. Bring your whole self to that particular project. And like I said, you will just be fine. There is no way to, what Madhu was saying. Don't have that barrier in your head. 60% is good enough to be the number 3 organization in the world. So what are you going to lose to be 60% confident? That's easy, right? Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
You raised your mic.
I'll can I just complete this and then we'll take your question? Thank you. So yes, to answer your question very precisely, of course, I think all of us have in some point of time been there where we have been, overwhelmed by our own fears, right? But one thing that I will tell you is I've been very fortunate to meet mentors, and all of them have been male so far until I joined Quinnox. All of my male mentors have been extremely, extremely supportive of me. One thing that I would really give you as a tip is to, one, be aware of what you're really good at. Work on your strengths, not on your weaknesses. Definitely work on your strengths and find a good sponsor for yourself. Because, when things go downhill, these sponsors and the strong network that you build over the period of time is going to really stand by you.
One last question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Shreya, next time I think we need longer time.
Hi, this is Jaya. Sorry about that.
That is called jumping in.
Yeah, so I'm Jaya, I'm from Goldman Sachs. From morning I've been in different sessions, and what I'm observing across session over session is that even though we start with a particular topic, it slowly slips out to women empowerment, the challenges that women face, and how are we supposed to be jumping in, working on it, which is good. But I think more from someone was earlier mentioning that you are actually separate, or you think separate, only then you become a separate entity in itself. Otherwise, you just blend in. And talent should be the number one part that should identify you as a person, not your gender. So with that note, I just want to come back to the core topic that we are talking about. Who calls the shots was what we started off with. So there are a lot of times in which we interact with clients, customers from a product manager aspect in itself. Can you recommend if there are any tools in the industry which can help enable such conversations better?
Product management conversations?
Client conversations, specifically around how can we visualize data, how can we present data. If you say that customers are calling the shot, if we want to impress, or if we want to actually put across the conversations across to the customers or the clients from a product manager perspective, are there efficient tools? If yes, what are those, and how can, just wanted to know about those.
So I think I'll just, a little bit passionate about this. When you speak to the customer, you gather the data. Of course, in the old school, I guess we use a lot of Excel, PowerPoint, and all of that stuff. But even with the advent of new tools, what has really worked well is whiteboarding. You sit and hash out a lot of things, brainstorm and whiteboard, and build whatever, the inexpensive prototype, or how do you walk through certain things back to the customer if you're looking for some sort of validation. That works like a charm, and do it as iteratively as possible. Go ahead. I think you had the mic.
Oh, I'm not going to talk about tools. I think Pallavi kind of explained. What do you have to really take with you into the, let's say, conference room to talk to the customer apart from data is you are the subject matter expert. You have the confidence. You know the product better than the person who's actually calling the shots. In my head, it's still you who's calling the shots. If you can master your articulation to Beth's point, as crisp, as clearly as possible. If there are two tools that you should really build is your communication skills, and of course, how do you carry yourself with confidence? That's it. The rest is data analytics, big data, Google Studio, talk about it. You have multiple tools to represent the data. But who will represent the data? That is still you. So that's my advice.
Thank you, folks. I think with that said, Shreya is looking at me for the past 5 minutes. So we'll have to wrap up. And we are all available if you'd like to. I know there are a few questions unanswered.
Yeah. So Pallavi, there is also like a career guidance session which is happening after the coffee break, where the whole point is have these conversations. There are going to be tables. There is no theme. I would request some of the leaders who are here to just join us for that. Let whosoever is staying back come and ask you questions, because I'm sure they have a lot of questions. So Lakshmi, I think, just tell them about the session so that we can have them also at the career guidance session. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For the wonderful
Thank you, team.
participation.